Welcome to Buccaneers Insider. I'm your host, Danny Rabinowitz, and I'm happy to be joined by the head coach of our women's basketball team, Coach Bill Sullivan. Coach, thanks for stopping by today.
My pleasure.
You guys are on a 3-game winning streak, but I want to talk about those first 2 games you guys played in the Nova Tip-Off Classic. A couple of tough teams. Yeah. It's really nice to start off your season with a test like that, right?
Yeah, we wanted to do that to see where we would be this year. And they were very tough teams, both ranked in the top 25. We didn't play our best ball. One team had all of their starters returning, plus their subs returning. So they were in mid-season form, and we're kind of struggling, trying to find our way at that point. And I think we're kind of heading in the right direction at this point.
I thought you also played well against FIU. You played an exhibition on the road over there, and that's another tough team to play against out of Conference USA. So that has to get your confidence up early on in the season, right?
Yeah, we were down by quite a bit, and then we had, I think, a 15-0 run and ended up losing by 14. But we were in the game with them, and that helped us a little bit, I think.
Coach, what did you notice after those first couple of games to start the season that you needed to change? Because obviously you guys have corrected some of the issues, and you rattled off 3 straight now.
Yeah, well, rebounding is a key, and we had to cut our turnovers down and just get some other scoring. We have a couple that are productive scorers, and we just need a little more scoring, and we think we're getting that now.
I want to ask you about some of those scorers, Tyler Hardy, Colette Eiley, that they've been really good for you this year. And just first of all, talk about their scoring, and then we'll get into their leadership qualities.
Well, they were both averaged double digits last year for us, and they're doing that again this year. And Tyler's averaging 17 a game, and Colette about 14 a game. And Tyler's also our leading rebounder. So we kind of knew what they would bring to the table, and now we're just waiting for a few of the other ones to step up and take on some of the scoring and help them out in the scoring aspect a little bit.
How important has their leadership been as far as taking that role on this year?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they're, like I said, they're both seniors. They've been here a while, and they know what we expect of them, and they produce on the court and in practice. They're just great practice players, and I don't know where we'd be without those two.
Coach, you mentioned some of the rebounding. You have Sharnice Neal down low. Nyjah Porcher has been really good for you as well. I mean, talk about some of their play. They seem to have some nice moves down there in the paint. Yeah,
they do, and we're just waiting for them to really step up to the next level. We know they're capable of it. And Portia did have 18 points against FIU, so we know she can score. But I think we're going to see bright things from those two in the future.
Now, Coach, you're going to start Sunshine State Conference play here coming up, and obviously it was tabbed as one of the toughest leagues in the country. First of all, are you excited to get it started? I know you told me you've been watching a lot of film coming up here. We'll get to Tampa in just a second, but are you excited to get into conference play here?
Yeah, I am. And like I said, if you want to play competitive basketball at the D2 level, this is the place to be, because this conference is just so tough. And if you don't like competitive games, you probably shouldn't come here, because it's every single conference game is just a real battle. And if you don't bring your best game, there's a good chance you're going to beat. But if you play well, you have a chance of beating anyone in the conference.
Does that make it a long season for a coach when you know any given night you can be beat by any team?
Absolutely. I mean, it used to be you could have a game or two off in this conference a few years ago, but that's not the case now. And so, yeah, you have to be ready to play every single night.
Is that a tough thing to stress to your players sometimes, that you have to be up for every single game for the rest of the season?
It is. You find that in the pros and other colleges. Sometimes they just come out flat for whatever reason, and we hope that doesn't happen to us. But, realistically, there's a good chance that could happen. And but we just have to try to be ready every single game from the tip, be ready to go.
All right, Coach, you told me you've been watching a lot of film on the University of Tampa, obviously one of the top teams in the Sunshine State Conference. What have you seen so far from them on film?
Well, they're a great team in that they have a 6'3" post player that they go into her probably better than any other team around. They really feed the post well, and she knows what to do with the ball when she gets it. She's averaging double digits, and she's was Sunshine State Conference Player of the Week a couple weeks ago. So they get her the ball, and then they surround her by 4 shooters, 3-point shooters, and so you almost have to pick your poison with them. Do you want to give up 2 at a time, or do you want to give up 3 at a time? Because if you help on the big post player, they've got the players that can knock it down on the perimeter. So it's going to be a real challenge for us.
All right, Coach, those are some of the scouting reports from Tampa. How about for you guys? What are some of your keys to getting the win?
Well, we have to get, I think, production. We, like I said, Tyler and Colette have been pretty consistent, And we need a little more consistency from some of our other players and some of our players from the bench to come in, hit some shots, and play some defense and do those things.
Coach, you've had some pretty good crowds in the building so far. How nice is that, and how much do your players feed off of that? Hoping for another good turnout this Saturday when you open up conference play, 2 o'clock against Tampa.
Oh, that helps so much, and it just fires our players up, and I think they play just a little bit harder when there's a decent crowd in the gym.
Coach, you guys are riding a 3-game winning streak going into Saturday afternoon's game. It's a 2 o'clock tip from the Barry Health and Sports Center. We wish you the best of luck, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Coming up next here on Buccaneers Insider, Jim McCurdy will speak with our women's #1 ranked doubles tennis team.
Thank you, Danny. And now I'm here joined by Linda Fritchkin and Emma O'Neila, 2 of the top women's tennis players here at Barry University. Ladies, you've had one heck of an impressive fall season. You've won the ITA South Region Championships, the ITA Small College Championships, and the Super Bowl, which is the first time that anyone from Barry has won the Super Bowl tournament. Talk about this impressive fall season that you've had together as a new doubles team, Linda.
Obviously, we had like a very good fall, and I think I can speak for both of us when we said that it makes us really proud, especially now that we're ranked #1 in the nation. And we worked really hard, especially like for the doubles, and it obviously like paid off really well.
Emma, what was it like going through this fall season where you won tournament after tournament, especially as a new team coming together, a new doubles team coming together?
I found it really different and a really nice experience to be able to play with a different type of player and having such a good doubles partner. And I'm just really proud, and I'm glad that the progress that we've been doing playing and training has paid off.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I wanted to address is you both have had different doubles partners in the past, and you came in with someone that you've played with, Emma, in the junior ranks, in Elizabeth Abanda. So what was the transition like to have to, pick up from scratch and play with another doubles partner again this year?
At the start, it was a little bit tough because Elizabeth and Linda are sort of different players and in doubles as well. But I feel like they're both very strong players to play with, and it was a pleasure to play with Elizabeth and with Linda. So I'm happy that I have such good doubles partners.
Now, Linda, you are supposed to be the calming factor for Emma in this doubles partners relationship, because Emma can be a little excitable on the court sometimes. So one of the reasons why the coaches paired you two together was to offer that calming presence. Talk about your role in this doubles partnership.
I have the feeling I'm always a calming part in the doubles, even though in singles I'm a little bit different, but in doubles I'm like a calm player, and I mean I know like how Emma is, what she likes and what she doesn't like, and I mean I don't have a problem to take charge of it and to bring her down when it's necessary, because I know that she's a really, really talented player, and when she has her emotion like under control, we can play really well together.
Now, you mentioned earlier about gaining the national #1 ranking. That just recently was released. You'll take that #1 ranking into the start of the spring season. What kind of an honor is that, and what kind of a target is that for you guys on your back to know that you are the #1 doubles team in the country?
I think it's probably one of the best things we could have done this semester. I'm really happy that we had the chance to achieve this, and I think that going into the spring is going to be a really big target for us, that we are ahead already in doubles, and I think that is going to help a lot once we get into nationals and where it really counts.
Linda, is there any extra pressure or any extra motivation knowing that you are the #1 doubles team in the country?
It's more motivation, because now you know that all the other doubles in the nation, they want to beat you, they want to show you like, they want to give you like a hard time, but it's always like a great feeling to have the #1 in front of your name. And also like for the team, I think it's very, very good because we have some other really strong double pairs in our lineup, and it's like, it's a good competitiveness, like, because now the girls, they know, okay, Emma and Linda are ranked #1, so we want to like keep up with them, and it's a really good challenge in the team.
Emma, last year you guys rose to the #1 spot in the country as a team. How quickly can we expect that this year from this team, or can we expect that this year from this team?
For my part, I think we're either going to have the same result as we did last semester, becoming #1. But I think the bigger goal is to just keep it all the way till the end, where in nationals, to push through where we left off, and hopefully we can be the #1.
Congratulations to all the success that you guys have had in the fall. Good luck as you begin the spring season with the #1 national ranking. And now back to you in the studio, Danny.
Thanks, Jim. I'm joined now by the head coach of our men's basketball team, Butch Estes. Coach, thanks for stopping by with us today.
Thank you, Danny.
I want to congratulate you on the success you guys have had so far this season. You're 4-0. I want to jump back, though, to that game against USF. You guys played the exhibition on the road up there in Tampa. I know you learned a lot of things about your team in that game.
We did. It was a great experience. It was a good paycheck for Barry University, too, to start off with. But, we played very competitively for 30 minutes, and it was good to get our guys under the bright lights and against that caliber of competition. And, yeah, we kind of got blown out the last 10 minutes, but up to that point, I thought we really competed. We were able to execute a lot of our stuff. And, just as you wrap it up at the end of the long preseason, to be able to play somebody of that magnitude and play as competitively as we did was really, really good for our team.
And Coach, you put them on the free throw line 50 times in that game. I want to ask you about that because there are some new rules regarding fouling and hand checking this year in college basketball. So how have you adapted to that? It seems like you guys have done a much better job since that game.
Well, that was a very unique game. I think it was unique for the officials as well as the players because they were calling every time you touched someone there was a foul, and that was kind of the emphasis to open up the game and allow more scoring, but it's also very disruptive to the game. So I think more than we've adjusted, honestly, I think as we've come back home and played our games, they've been refereed like they were last year. So I don't think we've adjusted that much. I think the referees have just kind of come back down to the old rules so far.
Now, Coach, one thing that you guys do exceptionally well is rebounding. It seems night in, night out, you guys are winning the rebounding battle, and you don't have a ton of height on this team as well, but I've seen you guys in practice. You work really hard on rebounding. What's made you guys so successful, though?
Well, a lot. There's an old saying that whatever you emphasize is usually your team will pursue, and I think it's more of an emphasis. Yeah, there's been a lot of teaching and a lot of repetitions, but mostly emphasis. Mike Bradley, one of our assistants, he's our rebounding coach, and I literally mean that. That's his job, and so every day he's harping on it, and the kids have really responded well. And yeah, rebounding is really our calling card right now. That's what we're doing best.
There's been a few guys that you could count on for that. Manya Fievelstad, Savad Garner especially. Those guys on the offensive glass as well. They're keeping possessions alive and they're getting putbacks.
They are, and Unio Beretta is also, I think he's actually leading us in rebounding, and Magna's been very consistent, and then Savad's so much fun to watch because I know a lot of people who are maybe watching haven't seen Savad, but he's only 6'2", and he plays inside. He doesn't play a guard position, but he's like a little pit bull. He's just always around the action and very involved.
Now, Coach, I want to ask you about the players on this team because you have so many new guys this year to work with, and I've spoken to you, I've spoken to your assistant coaches, and they're so happy with the chemistry and how guys are coming together. How do you feel this team is coming together?
Oh, that's really true, and it's really a challenge because it's not only new players, it's new coaches, everything's new, and this team, quite candidly, is a very young team. We're going to miss one or two players that are playing a big role that will be graduating, but after that, most of these guys are going to be back for a year or two or three, so we have a lot to look forward to, but they've come together really well. I think the #1 statistic in that area is we have 5 guys averaging double figures, and then Derek Hill is averaging 8 points a game, so he almost 6 guys in double figures, and so the balance is great. They really share the ball. They like each other on the court, and they like each other off the court.
You have a floor general in Derek Hill. He's a transfer, and we'll ask you about the other transfers in just a second, but Derek Hill, the guy distributes the basketball, and like you said, you have a lot of players in double figures. Derek can get up and down the floor extremely fast. He's probably every night he's going to be the fastest guy on the floor, right?
Yeah, he's one of my assistants called him the little devil because he's just all over the place. And, it's hard sometimes as a coach because he gets in some crazy situations and I have to put up with it, but I don't want to take his, ability to freelance and play relaxed and play his game. And I think twice now he's hit double figures in assists, and he's really distributing the ball. So he's a fun player to watch.
Coach, the 2 other transfers that you have, Juan Ferralis, Unio Barrueta. Obviously, we know what Juan and Unio can do. It's been obvious through the first 4 games of this season, and Juan was just named Sunshine State Conference Player of the Week. He had 34 points, 7 3-pointers in the last game. I mean, just talk about his game, and he's efficient as well.
He's really efficient. He's shooting 60-some% from three-point line. I wish I could tell you I was a three-point coach, the three-point shooting coach, but I'm not. But I think the thing about him is, for the first time in his career, he's found a comfort zone. He's very comfortable in our system. I have a lot of confidence in him. I think he has a little bit of confidence in me, and so he's really at home now and playing awfully well.
All right, Coach, Sunshine State Conference opener coming up Saturday, 4 o'clock from the Berry Health and Sports Center. First of all, this conference, you have to be pretty excited to get going. It's one of the toughest conferences in the country.
Yeah, it is ranked number 1 in the country in Division II, and it's just full of great players. Tampa will give us a challenge like everybody else in the league. It's no different. It's just another conference game. It is a little exciting for us because it is the opener.
You have the opener coming up, Coach. What have you seen from Tampa, the film that you've watched?
Well, they're 5-1. They're very solid in every area. I think the keys for us are going to be, can we score, against them, and then continue that rebounding. That rebounding has really been big to us.
And I know you've been enjoying those packed houses inside the Berry Health and Sports Center.
Got to keep it coming. I mean, that's huge. I know Coach referred to it earlier in a segment that, tomorrow we'll be playing our first conference game, and the more people there, the better we play.
Coach, I appreciate you stopping by, and best of luck to you. Take on Tampa Saturday, 4 o'clock from inside the Berry Health and Sports Center. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We have so many exciting things going on here on campus at Berry University. 4 teams ranked in the top 3 in the country. Our men's golf team and men's tennis team both ranked number 1. Our women's golf team ranked number 2 in the country, and our women's tennis team is ranked number 3 in the country. Our men's and women's basketball teams have also won 7 straight games. Our men's team is 4-0, and our women's team is 3-2. Make sure to get to the Berry Health and Sports Center Saturday at 2 o'clock for a doubleheader. The University of Tampa makes their way onto campus for the Sunshine State Conference opener. My thanks to Linda and Emma of our women's tennis team, the head coach of our women's basketball team, Bill Sullivan, and the head coach of our men's basketball team, Butch Estes. For Jim McCurdy, I'm Danny Rabinowitz. Make sure to tune in next time on Buccaneers Insider.